Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.
It almost is inevitable. It may not happen this year or next year, but I don't see how it doesn't happen at some point because we can't make rules. There's nothing we can do about NIL. It's here. There's nothing we can do about transfer right away and play right away. That's here to stay. And there's just not much that can be done in terms of changing those things. We have to adapt to them as best we can and move on. So it's hard to really even talk about the NCAA right now because there's just nothing really that they've been able to do over the last few years, or that I see they can do. If I was in charge of the NCAA, I wouldn't know what to do because there's nothing that you can do right now. The one thing I would say about the game, I think we should move to the 24-second clock because that's where the world is. That's where everybody, my son's playing overseas, my other son's playing the G League, the NBA, all the world is playing on a 24-second clock. And I'm tired of hearing coaches say, well, we need the time to get a shot. The longest teams, like Virginia was the longest team a few years ago, and they got a shot in 17 seconds. Most teams get a shot in 12, 14 seconds or less. So the fact that the idea that you need 24 seconds to get a good shot is it's not true. It's just not true. And I think the game would be better. Everybody talks about not scoring enough and not doing this. You get more possessions, you're going to score more points. You play a little faster, you'll score more points. I think this is a coaching myth that we need 30 seconds or 35 seconds or whatever. So I would change that. That's the big thing to change. I would probably widen the lane. I'd probably think about moving the 3-point line back a hair. I never really liked it. I think
4 quarters, Jim.
I never liked the 4 quarters. I never was explained to me where I would like it. I kind of guess I really never liked it. I mean, that's something a lot of people do talk about, but I was always confused by the fouls. You could go right to the borderline, then not foul, and then the borderline again, not foul. Whereas the old system, you'd be in the 1-on-1. So I don't know. I think it's, the 24-second clock's one I would just easily change. And then the other one is our game. They talk about it all the time, but our game is too physical, and the NBA is less physical. I think they have to empower the refs, call the fouls. They tell them to do it, but as the season goes along, it kind of gets lost, and there's just more physical play than I think there should be, that I would like to see. But the 24-second clock is the main one.
The points of emphasis are the points of emphasis until January, and then it's just right back to, and then it's just right back to where it was.
I had a great official, one of the best I've ever had. Jimmy Burr and John Cal worked in our league. To me, they were 3 of the best I've ever had. And they called a foul in the non-conference, and one of my players was standing right there, and I was there. And he says, "All right, we will call that now." See, we get in a conference, we're not calling it. We're calling it right now, And the Big East was really too physical back then. It's better now, but it was, we had a couple refs that worked our league and worked the ACC. And they said there's nothing comparison. This league, Patrick and all those guys were in the league. It was a battle for survival out there.
Coach, what's your take? What's your take on this new charge rule, where 95 to 97% of these block charge calls are now blocks? My thing was, well, I kind of like the charge call because it gives a little power to the little guy, because I'd get switched off in the post. That was my only thing I had. So that's one thing. So that was a go-to for me. But the other thing is, I thought instead of having the charge circle that close, you move that out 2 feet, you can still call it the same way, because they're trying to get the first step on the 1-2 to a layup. They're trying to get you to that first step. If you move that charge circle out, you knock out that problem, because then guys aren't taking off outside the charge circle. Does that make sense?
Well, you're not going to like me at all. I think everything should be blocked. Everyone.
Yeah.
Take it out of the game. That's a guy
Yeah.
that coming over that's not going to play defense. He's just coming over and stand there. So I say you're trying to make a play for it, or it's just a block. I mean, I know we've had success taking charges. I understand that part, but I just think you're not making a basketball play. You're coming over there and standing in front of somebody who's trying to make a good play. In the NBA, for a long time, they would not give you a call on that. They would call a block all the time. Now they've changed a little bit, but I hate that play. I mean, first of all, it's a hard play to get right.
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, it's not defense. It's coming over and standing there. And so I would really like to see it out of the game. You're right. Maybe
That's why
move it out.
That's why you lost the jacket at Cameron, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the reason. The real story behind it was they just called the play on the other end 2 minutes earlier when we had better position. They called it a block, and so there was no way I could let that one go down there. That we were on a 19-game winning streak or something. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what it was, but anyway, I just couldn't let that one go. And the thing is, everybody remembers that play. So I guess when you do something crazy, they do remember you for it, whether it's good. I'm not sure whether it's good or bad, but they remember you for that play.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.